Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela. I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady and welcome back to another Whips, Bits and Chat. Today's is 103. Right, so let's go and see what I got for you today. So, first up, of course, is our video roundup. Yes, very slight this week, and of course, no lives yet again. Sorry, gang, brain is just not in it at the moment. I can't keep up with 2 conversations, let alone the 15 that we all have during a live. So, let's tell you what you may have missed if you weren't notified this week. The first video up was the Stitch a Week, and this week it was a granny square. Nice and simple for the majority of us. Most of us probably started with a granny square. And this one has a little twist though at the end of each round. You rotate your work and go back the opposite direction. To me, I found this one a lot easier to do because it meant that I didn't have to remember to slip stitch across and all the rest of it. It was just literally, oh, finished, bind it off, spin it round and go again. Okay, so that's why I put this version up for you guys this week. The second video out was our Inside Crochet in its issue number 146. Now this is April's edition, so of course it's now in the shops. So that's if you're in the UK, of course. It is in the shops for you to get your hands on. Now I do realise that I didn't actually add the details on this one if you wanted to buy a subscription of the magazine. If you jump onto last month's one, all the information of course is in there and it's in the description box as well. I will move that information over, or I have moved that information over to this month's Inside Crochet video as well. So you can get not only the digital copy but the paper copy like I do, and you can get it in subscription form as well. Right, so what have I been up to this week? Well, to be honest, I'm going to be honest with you, I've got long COVID. My long COVID symptoms are kicking my tush this month. The cold weather and hot weather where it's jumping backwards and forwards over here in the UK is throwing my back out left, right and centre. So I've been on pain meds. So what have I done this week? I've got no idea. I have been zoned out for the majority of the week. What I can say is that completed whips wise, I'm not sure even if I showed you this last week. But I have completed the blanket in the length that I want, which is really, really cool. And now this is the mosaic blanket and the pattern is by Courtney at Fiberfox Studios and it's number 40. There is a video on her channel and of course over on her Etsy shop she also has her charts and graphs for you to purchase. It's lovely and easy, and for a first ever attempt I don't think I've done too bad. And to be honest, this one was nice and easy, but the one I'm doing next, oh my gosh, it's even easier. This still needs to be to have its border put on. I've attempted to do it a couple of times this week. Following along with the video from Courtney, because she has a video on how to attach a border onto these works, but I can't get it to sink in my brain. I start doing it, I think I get there, and then the self-doubt goes in one ear, stays in the middle, and I go and either rip it out or just put it to one side. And so at the moment that's what I'm having to do because I can't keep the instructions in my brain. It's an absolute nightmare, but I will get back to it at some point. But at the moment I'm just enjoying going round and round and round with my crochet hook because my next pattern I'm working is a mosaic in the round, and again it is one of Courtney at Fiberfox Studios, because I wanted to try something a little bit different. I wanted to push myself a bit, so I've done it in the flat. I'm now doing it in the round. And hopefully I will have something to show you next week on that one. because I don't really want to spoil it, just on the off chance that she sneaks a peek and has a nose to see what I've made. I've sent her a photograph of the first repeat complete, and it is literally just the image of the repeat, nothing extra, so she can't see what it is, but now she knows it's worked in the round. Right, on to the next thing. Right, and now for a little bit that I haven't put into one of these videos for a while. It's answering your questions. Now sometimes on some of the videos you girls put in questions, and of course I do individually respond to every comment that goes that comes to me. I respond with something back. 9 out of 10 times if you've got a question, I answer it there and then, or within a couple of hours depending on if I'm in bed. Right, but of course not all of us read every comment on someone else's video, so sometimes the same sort of things come up time and time again. So I thought this time round I would hit the question mark button on me YouTube studio and see which questions came out and which ones were quite regular, and then I will answer them now. Right, so the first question up is what are winner-only patterns and how can I get my hands on them? Okay, so the winner-only patterns are patterns that I created last year before I found out about copyright. Now, they are based off of two different film providers, okay, and one is Disney and the other one is Marvel. So you've got Disney and Marvelous. They are the codename nickname for each set. Okay, so within the Disney set, what I do is I will show you the pattern normally on a live and give you the name that I've called it. So there was ones like Accident Prone Elephant, which was Dumbo, Spooktacular, which was a Mickey Mouse variation for Halloween. I'm trying to think of them all, I haven't got it written down anymore, but you can see where I'm coming from. There was a Stitch in Time, which was Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. And then on the Marvelous side, you had a Spider-Man. Oh cripes! So your brain is dead. But you had all these sort of other ones. Now the Disney were a lot more detailed patterns, so they will take a lot longer and they are a lot bigger. Okay, but the idea behind it was that I can't sell them, but I can give them away as prizes, and then you girls can make, or boys, sorry, can make them and send me a photograph so that I can show it off. Because at the end of the day, that's the bit I like the most, is seeing your works that you've made using the patterns that I've either provided on the channel or that are over on the Ravelry shop, or of course that you've won on the channel. So that was my idea, was to sort of build up a bit more momentum and more interest really, and it also meant that I didn't have to just destroy those hours and hours of work that I'd already done in creating those original patterns. And so that's what they were. And how can you win them? Basically, if you are joining on a live, you can normally win that month's pattern, because the patterns from this point on will be a one a month. There's no multiple choice and there's no rolling over the patterns like there was last year, because that just got so confusing for me, and it meant that the email chain running backwards and forwards between myself and every winner, which on average was 20 a month, the email chain got so long, because they were like, oh okay, so can you tell me about this one, like the 4 that were on offer. So now there is one on offer per month. Once you've won it, if you're joining in on the games, you can still carry on joining in after you've won it. You just shout in the chat, roll it on, and then we roll it on to the next question. These prizes are non-transferable, so it's not like you can win one and then you win a second one and say, oh, can you give it to me, mate? We don't do that. It's everybody can win once and once alone. Now, if you're unable to make it to the lives, that's not an issue either, because all you've got to do is come back and watch the live, just on the off chance I've shoved a code word in, and then you'd pop that code word into your comment in the video once it goes into it, like once it's in replay, and then I will draw off of that. So you never know. Sometimes I've got draws on there, sometimes I haven't, but the only way you're going to find out is to watch them, I'm sorry to say, because I'm an evil sadistic toe rag. There is also a secondary thing that I do which is called a vault pass. Now these vault passes are harder to get your hands on, but if you win a vault pass, it means that you can choose one of the patterns, or however many is stated within the competition that's being run. You can choose any of the previous patterns that have already gone into the vault. So the vault is basically where I store every pattern that you guys have already seen and heard me talk about month in, month out. Okay, and they are the winner only patterns. They are not patterns that are over on the store, on the Ravelry shop. Those patterns are completely different. Now the next question up was from Blue Heart Crochet 3 months ago. I told you I haven't done this for such a long time. Now Blue said, the baby blankets I make are adorable. How do I come up with so many beautiful blankets? Now in the case of, it's a case of having too much time on my hands, especially back when I was doing the corner to corner graphs. I did those as a batch about a year and a bit ago, when I got pain in my hand and I was unable to crochet for a good couple of weeks. So the dodgy hand is an ongoing thing if I over crochet, and what I mean by over crochet is if I do more than about 8 hours of crochet a day, which is quite common for me. So because of that, I will sit down and I will sit there and I will draw up either a corner to corner or something else. Now at the moment, with the stitch a week that's going on, every new one that I create, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, what can I do with it? So I've got a little notepad by the side of me, and I start doodling, and it is literally, it's either hand doodling or yarn doodling when it comes to making the simpler baby blankets like the Pop and the Diddy blankets. Those ones were literally me just sitting there going, I like that stitch, how can I incorporate it into a blanket? And then I drew my blanket out and I put the stitch where I wanted it, or little boxes, and then wrote what was in it. And that is basically how I design my blankets. But of course, for every 20 I design, only one seems to make it to the end product, if not less than one makes it to the end product. Okay, so my next question has come from a couple of new crazies that have come to the channel over the last sort of 3 months, and they're wondering what terminology I use within the videos. Now, although I'm English and I live in England, I use American terms because that is how I first learned. So for me, it's a lot easier to use the terms that I know rather than the terms that I would need to change it to, especially at the moment when half the time the brain, the mouth and the hands don't work in unison. I don't need to be confusing myself even more, because otherwise it'll completely confuse everybody else. So the terms I use on the channel are US terms. Right, the next one is a question that I got from Crafty Chats Caff over on the community tab. When I put up, it's a hush hush, a yarn de-stash from Aldi, basically announcing that there was going to be another Aldi yarn event. Okay, now on that I'd stated that you can't get the certifications for the yarn because they don't always come from the same suppliers. That is still the case now, but Crafty had asked why won't they publish the safety certificates, and basically the downside to it is that they would have to send every ball, like every different colourway to be tested, and the testing is around anything between £300 and £400 depending on what it is and how many different loops they need to jump to get the certification certs. So if they did that, they would have to up the price to cover the cost, which would then wouldn't make it as fun or as cheap to pick up that yarn. But you can still use the Aldi yarn for your own makes for yourself, as long as you're not selling them and you're only ever giving them to friends and family. And you say to them, oi, don't suck it, then you'll be fine. That's the main reason for the certifications. It's to cover the maker when they go on to sell the item. Some yarn companies like Signet do give their certifications away for free. Other ones I will charge you. That's just how it goes, I'm sorry to say. Okay, and the next question is in regards to the Inside Crochet magazines. What am I going to make out of them? Each one of the videos, normally I will say which one I like the most, like which pattern sort of I would like to do. But it's a case like everything, it'll go on the back burner until I have got time to do it. And at the moment, I've got too much to do for you guys. So when it comes to crocheting, it is literally either one of my own patterns or showing off another creator, making something with another creator's pattern. I haven't had the time to actually sit down yet and work through one of those patterns because of course they're written in English terms, so the first thing I'd have to do is completely and utterly change the entire pattern so it's written in American so I can understand what I'm doing. Oof, that's going to be a big challenge. So the first one out will possibly be an amigurumi because you don't really have to change much when it comes to amigurumi patterns. Right, the last question up for today was actually written on the crochet spider pillow tutorial from way back when. It is #05. Now a lady called Patel has said, can I make a Hulk face pillow? This would have to be one that is basically for a tutorial only because of course copyright, unless I can make it not look as cool as the original. So if it looks like the spider pillow, I might be able to get away with selling it as a pattern as well. All I can say is on that one, keep an eye out on the channel. I have it in my brain roughly how I'm going to do it. Don't panic, I've written it down because otherwise I will forget. So I'm sort of letting that tick over in my brain at the moment whilst I'm doing other things. And hopefully, if I can do it, it'll be out later on in the year. Next up, it is your photos. Now these of course are the ones that I love the most. This is the best bit of the whole video for me. So come on, let's go and have a nose. Now remember, this week's square was of course the granny square. So we do have a few of those, and then we have a couple of girls that are playing catch up. So you will see some of the older squares from earlier on in the series, but I don't care. I love seeing what colour choices you guys have made. Come on, let's go and have a nose. Right, nice, short, sharp and quick today. That is it for me. I will see you all really soon. So if you can, please stay in and definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everybody. Yaha! Well, I recorded this on April the 1st. Now, this is not an April 1st joke. This is your opportunity to win a vault pass. Hey, why not? So, in the vault at the moment, I believe there are either 8 or 9 different patterns for you to choose from. So, what I would like you to do is hide in your comment the word Liam. Nice and easy. Talk about me dog. Right, okay, so I would like you to hide the word Liam in your comment. So go ahead and do. Now please read all of the instructions on how to join in, and please make sure that you are 1, subscribed to the channel, 2, have your subscriptions open so that I can check, and 3, make sure that comment's on there. There's a few other rules in the description box, please read them. Now this competition will run until the end of the month. Okay, that's the April Fool bit, that's the evil bit. I'm leaving it till the end of the month to give everybody a chance to get their hands on this vault pass. Right, I'm off. I'll see you later.